Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Capital G here for another EDH deck tech for you. Once again, using deckstats.net to show this off. And it is going to be an Arixmethes Slumbering Isle deck tech. Let's get the highlights on him here. A 12/12 for 4 mana. Seems like a good deal. Except A, it comes into play tapped. B, comes into play with 5 slumber counters on it, and C, as long as it's got any number of slumber counters on it, it's a land, not a creature. You can remove slumber counters simply by casting spells, and it taps for green and blue. A lot of people I've seen used this as their giant seafood commander. So all of the octopuses, krakens, and leviathans you can imagine. I'm not so interested in that. I nicknamed the deck here Arixmethes the Prosperous for a reason. And that is, I want him to just rest easy while everyone else prospers. This is a combo deck. Plain and simple. No playing with fish just to kind of like, well, will he combo off? Won't he combo off? Nope. This is strictly a combo deck. Coming over to the visual spoiler to more easily show off what the plan is. Infinite mana combo was discovered almost immediately upon Arixmethes' original spoiling during the Commander 2018 season. It's remove all the counters from him, enchanting with either Freed from the Wheel or Pemenzora. Tap for blue-green, untap the enchanted creature, tap for blue-green, untap the enchanted creature, wash, rinse, repeat, and guess what? Infinite green mana. Now we want to spend it, and what we're going to spend it on is a card like Mind's Aglow or Prosperity. Costs 1 blue to trigger the spell itself, and then we just pay X. Each player draws X cards. So X will be roughly 100. Maybe a little more depending on what our opponents are able to do with their deck. But the point is, this goes off, everybody draws out. But we don't want to draw, we want to win the game, not draw the game. And that's what Abundance is for. Abundance, and we also have another enchantment here called Words of Wilding. And they're here to make sure we don't deck out. Now, Words of Wilding is a little more straightforward. We can pay a mana. The next time you would draw a card this turn, put a 2/2 green bear creature token into play instead. So, generate, say, 200 mana, put 100 mana into Words of Wilding, 100 into Prosperity. You see where this is going. We get 100 bears, everybody else gets their decks drawn out. Abundance, it's a little more complicated how this one works because it is a replacement effect. If you would draw a card, you instead choose to reveal a land or non-land card. Well, you choose land or non-land, then you reveal the top card of your library until you reveal a card of your chosen kind. Put it into your hand. Put all other cards revealed this way on the bottom of your library in any order. So basically what happens is if you do not have any, let's say you, for every card draw, you choose non-land card. Once your deck is nothing but lands, you basically reveal all the cards in your deck, shuffle it, put it back. You fail to find, but you don't draw any additional cards either. So Abundance, in a very roundabout way, prevents you from drawing cards. And it's in green, which is important because green mana is what's infinite. So, at its most basic, these cards plus a couple extra islands means we can combo off by playing these cards. Let's say all 4 of these cards. But I believe in this combo so much that I put in a bunch of these auras to enchant our lands and have a lot of our other lands tap for 2 or even 3 mana at a time. Now, why would I want to do that? Like, why would I want to throw like Market Festival on a land, New Horizons on a land, Sheltered Area on a land? Well, it's just to generate more and more mana, and I do fully intend on untapping these lands, and I'll show you how shortly. I also fully intend on drawing into my combo pieces. Blue-green are not rich in enchantment tutors, unfortunately, so this is how we're going to get our cards, just by rampantly drawing until we find what we need. So this draws us cards for creatures that we control and creatures somebody else controls. I like this hybrid mana cost, makes it super easy to cast. Bounty of the Luxa gives us a draw every second turn, gives us extra mana every second turn. That's basically a 1/1, blocks for us, gives us a card. We can get 4 cards off of Deep Analysis. Drift of Phantasms, we can transmute it into one of our untapping enchantments, so we'll get our Pemenzora with this. Frantic Surge, of course, draw 2 cards, and discard 2 cards, untap up to 3 lands. Generates mana for us. Pull lands out of our deck, Growth Spasm, Grow from the Ashes. Harrow. Harmonize draws us 3 cards. Lore Weaver, now. I do want to get infinite blue mana if we can, because this says target player draws 2 cards, so we can activate this an infinite number of times and cause someone to draw out that way as well. Of course, we can use this on ourselves to find our combo pieces also, because we'll be doing a lot of digging. Rishkar's Expertise is a nice spell to cast once we remove all the counters from Arixmethes. In fact, if Arixmethes only has 1 counter on it, and our goal is to bring him down to 1 counter, and then only remove that last counter in very specific situations. This is one situation where we would take that last counter off, because this draws us 12 cards. We've got Spring to Mind, perfect fit because it does everything we want it to do. Gets us a basic land and draws us cards. Stroke of Genius draws us cards. Thrasios with infinite green mana. We draw until we get everything we need. Curse of the Swine exiles a bunch of big creatures, turns them into 2/2 boars that, well, they just bore us, that's all. Thrall's Expertise for bouncing and a free cast. Draw cards, play lands, Urban Evolution, Cyclonic Rift. We all know it, we all hate it. Slice and Twain, pop an enchantment. I do have a couple of fish just in case, like Slinvoda. It's Mass Bounce, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll get to 10 mana pretty easy in this deck. Reset the board for us. These guys, however, are way more important than our big fish here. Because oddly enough, it's not necessarily Arixmethes that I want to enchant with Freed from the Real or Pemenzora. It's them. Because they can untap any lands or any permanents. Some of them can untap 2 lands. Hope Tender and Lay Weaver can untap 2 lands and really generate us a lot of mana. We never have to worry about whether or not we're running low on blue mana. So that's why I love these guys. These are the ones I want to enchant with Pemenzora and Freed from the Real. Of course, combo deck, we want to protect it, so Arcane Denial's here, Counterspell, Disdainful. Overwhelming Denial is a nice counterspell just because in and of itself cannot be countered. And oftentimes we can play it for its search, cost of double blue, not having to worry about the extra colorless. Rewind, of course, because it untaps our land, so does Unwind, but Unwind only gets non-creature spells. That's fine, chances are we're using this to counter a counterspell. Tefari's Response, there is an oddly specific counterspell. It counters a spell or ability that an opponent controls that targets a land you control. Well, if somebody sniffs out what we're trying to do, they'll try and strip mine one of our lands, dust bowl one of our lands. This puts a stop to that. Someone tries to take a shot at our land. Surprise, we actually can counter it. Not only can we counter it, but it actually draws us 2 cards. It may very well be a dead card in our deck depending on the game, but the rewards are very high. Kefnet's another way for us to draw cards, of course, especially once we get a ton of mana. And it's a 5/5 indestructible, which is good for us to buy some time if we need it. Lorthos is here just in case someone sniffs out what we're trying to do and manages to stop us from getting our enchantments in play. Well, now you have an 8/8 to deal with that can tap down your board. There's a Hall also here, a 7/7, can't be countered. Can easily dodge removal. So, a couple of big creatures just to back us up. They're not the win con, but they're definitely here to help. Rite of Replication, also a huge help. Find the best creature on the board and get 5 of them. Fire Shrieker. This is a sneaky piece of tech. Again, we're usually going to run Arixmethes down to 1 counter if we can. And let's say the player to our right at one point rafts the board. It's like, here, Wrath of God, board's clean. We have 1 counter left on Arixmethes. Fire Shrieker, take off the last counter, equip, swing. We just knock somebody out with commander damage in 1 shot. Memory Jar, a nice way to filter another 7 cards deeper. To help us get us back our enchantments if they're ever put into the graveyard, we've got Reviving Melody and Seeds of Renewal. 1,000-Year Elixir. It essentially gives our land untappers haste, so that's why we have this here. Cold Steel Heart, of course, gives us mana, Prismatic Wrens, Soul Ring, Signet, and Locket, in fact, just to give us a little bit of ramp. The Locket also gives us some card draw, so. And no colors, like not color specific, at least not for us, so Simic Locket, a great addition here. For our lands, really the only special one, Deserted Temple. Untap target land. I also have an Aether Hub. It gives us an extra blue mana if we need it at some point. It comes in untapped. We don't need to use that energy right away, if ever. It's just more of a back pocket land in case we need it. We're running 11 islands. We're running 13 forests. We're running a couple of cycle lands. Reliquary Tower, of course, because we will draw a bunch of cards. Simic Growth Chamber is here, of course. Lumbering Falls gives us a man land in case we need a blocker. There's another cycling land for us. Simic Guildgate is here. Woodland Stream, Thornwood Falls. Very simple mana base. So let's see what the value of this deck is. Let's go over to the details here and see what the deck's value roughly is. Apparently you can get this, I think it's TCG Player that they get their prices from, or EDH Rec, I'm not entirely sure. There it is, TCG. No, I'm not sponsored, but they seem to be generating a lot of the prices on these websites, so there you go. In concept, you can buy this deck as is for $150. And really, it's only about 4 or 5 cards that really bust the budget on this one. Like Deserted Temple, you don't see it so often. Memory Jar, you definitely don't see that one too often. Cyclonic Rift. Most of these more expensive cards are replaceable. Really, Thrasios is probably the only one that really isn't. Just because for that 4 mana draw card when you go infinite, if you go infinite and you don't have your Prosperity or your Abundance yet, then Thrasios is the one that gets it for you. So he's an essential part of the deck, probably worth the $20 here if you want to build something like this. And yeah, that's our deck in a nutshell. Let's see what EDH Rec suggests for our build. Temple of Mystery, actually, this is an excellent choice. I didn't have an extra one handy, but this would be an excellent addition to the deck. Hinterland Harbor, of course, also excellent. Taps for both our colors and will likely come in untapped because we have a lot of islands and forests. Command Tower, also a wise choice. Rampant Growth, don't really need that so much. Tatiova, excellent choice. Play a land, draw a card, gets us a little deeper. Might be a little slow for us though. Temple of the False God, why not? It taps to 2 colorless already and then we throw our enchantments on top of it. Seems good. Rogue's Passage, if we're ready to go on offense, this is actually a great add. I'm actually considering adding this one. And Prime Speaker Sagana, much like how Rishkar's Expertise, we're only going to play that card if we're removing the last counter off of our Arixmethes. Prime Speaker Sagana, same thing. We're removing that last counter from Arixmethes and we're drawing 12 cards. Actually 13 cards with Prime Speaker, actually, because we count her 1/1 power as well. So these are probably the best suggestions for this deck. Alright. What are your suggestions? What are your ideas for Arixmethes? let me know, and comments are right there. Hit me up and we will chat again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.